Hi everybody, Debbie Hoyt here with another installment for the School Psych vlog. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about anxiety, and we're going to start to talk about externalizing anxiety. So first of all, kind of a really quick truth bomb, we're not going to get rid of anxiety. Anxiety and worry and stress happen. They happen every day. They happen to all of us, and we need to expect that to happen. And so we really need to learn how to handle worry when it does show up. So parents, the last thing we want to do for our kids is to create this super safe environment where they never experience adversity. Because ultimately it's not going to happen, because worry then is going to get stronger, it's going to get bigger, it's going to get into more control. We have to learn how to handle anxiety and stress when it happens, because again, ultimately worry and stress can help us. It's really effective when we are in danger. It sets off those alerts so that we can run or we can fight, or that we know what to do, because there are going to be given situations when we do experience worry and we do need that. But there's going to be times that anxiety and worry show up, and it's not our enemy. But at the same time, we need to know how to get through to the other side. So, one of the examples is externalizing. A lot of kids, oh, I'm worried about going to school. I don't want to go to school. Parents let their kids stay home from school for a day. Then it ends up into day 2, day 3, day 4. Anxiety and kind of the inner workings of the brain that I've been talking about, that amygdala, learns that, oh, I did this, I got what I wanted, I'm now comfortable. So it's not so much the student or your child that's getting what they want, but their brain that's getting what they want. So today we're going to talk a little bit about externalizing anxiety and how do we get it out there to talk to it. And you're going to think that this is a really strange technique, but this is actually an effective technique. For anybody that's a little bit older, you might have heard of Fritz Perls, Perls, or you can Google Gestalt therapy or the empty chair syndrome. Empty chair technique. This is what we're going to be doing, is externalizing anxiety. And one of the things you can do is talk to it. Sometimes I can remember, you get the little devil on one side, the little angel on one side. They kind of go back and forth thinking of the pros and cons. So what we have is you sometimes have to externalize it and work through it. Now, parents, you have to be the external force, because right now, as we talked about in the past couple weeks, the kids don't have that ability. Our kids don't have that ability in their brains to really externalize it. And this is where we have to become the prefrontal cortex for them. We have to put it out there. We have to put it out like here, away from them, so that way they can see it and start to rationalize. That will be our job. Not to take it away, but to help them rationalize. So for example, I'm going to use school for this example because I know there's some students who watch it. This is for parents whose kids may be experiencing school, but replace the term school with whatever causes worry. If you're doing this for yourself, it might be work, it might be a math test, it might be going to the grocery store. Replace school for whatever. But this is what we have, is sometimes you wake up in the morning, and from a student's perspective, I wake up and say, oh, I got to go to school. So this is the thinking part. Oop, I have to go to school today. Well, then the amygdala steps in and says, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen today. You're going to be away from home. You don't know what's going on. Ooh, even better, it could be dangerous. Now, this part, the amygdala that's going on, students are not rationally thinking this. This is not actually going through their brain, but this is the way the amygdala works. At which point the thinking part comes in. Dude, come on, this is cool. There's not going to be anything dangerous. It's school. Things happen. I know how to keep myself safe. Yeah, I've got a math test today, and I don't know what's going to be on the math test, but I've studied. I'm going to be ready. I've done what I can do, and it is going to be what it is. The amygdala steps in. Whoa, stop. Think about this for a moment. You don't get it. Bad, whoop, 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 bad, danger, let's go. you're going to have to run, you're going to have to fight, you're going to have to do all these things. You know, maybe you just stay home. Maybe you just stay home and then you don't have to deal with it. I'm trying to kind of save your life right now. I'm trying to keep you safe. So we're just going to stay home and kind of hide in the blankets. We have to bring out the thinking part. You're not being sensible, brain. Let's think about it. There's school. There's teachers there, teachers that I trust. There's other kids there. Yeah, this kid hasn't been nice to me, or this hasn't happened to me, but this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. You know, we have recess today. I have lunch. Nothing to worry about. The amygdala comes back in. You so don't get it. This could be deadly, and I'm going to get my way. I am going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I am in control. I'm going to kind of fill you with all these chemicals and these hormones that we've talked about, which is going on throughout this entire conversation. And you're feeling uncomfortable right now because all that I'm doing, because I need to be in control and I need to know what's going to happen and I need to know that we're going to be comfortable. Not so much safe. It wants to be comfortable. It wants to know certainty. It wants to know exactly what's going to happen. And this is what's going on kind of in the brain without people even really knowing it. This is right now at the beginning. It's not a very cognitive process. It's not something that people are totally thinking through. You get the feelings through your body, and that's what they go with. So when we externalize it, when we talk about it, sometimes it's easy to create a picture. What does your anxiety look like? What are you going to externalize it with? So maybe we're going to use little kitty up here. Good thing I have that up there, that cute little kitty. Maybe your kitty has fangs or something. It was just Halloween. Or maybe you have this cute little monster. Maybe you have a scary monster. But whatever it may be, you're going to start to talk to your anxiety. And as parents, this is where you need to help your student. So your kid comes down to you and they're like, I'm not going to school today. And as a parent, you're like, okay, yeah, you are. And nope, I've got a math test. This is going on. This is happening. I had this with this peer overnight on social media. This is what happened. And they start to get into that snowball of their brain taking over. And you as a parent in a really tough spot. It's okay to say, right now, this is not you talking. This is your worry talking. This is your anxiety talking. This is your stress talking. No, it's me talking too. Absolutely. But right now, your stress and your worries are the one that's in charge. So as a parent, let's talk to our anxiety. How are we going to get back into control? What do we need to say to little kitty up here, or whatever your worry looks like? Little kitty, I'm going to go to school today. Yes, I have a test today. Yes, I have problems with friends, but I've studied for the test and this is what I'm going to do. And at the same time, I am going to check in with my guidance counselor or with his teacher about the problem with the peer. Or, you know what, sometimes kids are like, I'm just going to let this go and I'm not going to go on social media for a few days because of these issues with these peers. Social media keeps things going 24/7. So unfortunately with that access, it's hard to kind of get rid of the worry and anxiety when you're constantly looking at it, parents, just so you think of that. You might feel, if they start to talk about how they're not feeling well, if they're feeling dizzy, or if they're having a stomach ache or, a headache, remind them that is typical of worry. That's the worry taking over their body. When you do this the first time, it's not going to go well because this is a whole new coping mechanism. I'm also going to say, especially for you students, when you try to do this when you're in a crisis, you can't. Here's a truth bomb. When your kid is in crisis or you or yourself are in crisis and all of a sudden you try to use this coping strategy, you can't. End of story, because you're in a crisis. You can't do something new when you're in a crisis. So it's important to practice this when you start to feel it in your body a little bit. What's something that there's going to be a million whys, but what is something that might cause you anxiety? And how do you start to practice this every single day, just like you do a sport or dance or gymnastics or an instrument Whatever you do, you have to practice in order to get better. You have to practice to improve and to become more skilled at it. We have to practice feeling these feelings and working with them and being in control of them, not giving in to them. So as parents and as students who are watching this, you really want to practice this a little bit. You know what? Okay, I'm going to go in, like for myself, math causes me definite stress. Not one of my personal strengths, which is okay. But when I know that I have to do math, I know I need to check it on a calculator. I know that I need to have somebody check my work because I may have done something wrong. Let's face it, I've probably done something wrong. I also in high school and college, I didn't take calculus because that would have really sent me over the edge. I took the classes that I needed to in math to graduate. I didn't do any more. Now that I have statistics that I work with, I can understand the statistics, but I can't get to the point, which is why we have scoring manuals for ourselves. And so I definitely use the scoring manuals a lot. So sometimes when I start to feel that like, oh, I've got this, evaluation that I've completed, I'll kind of put it out there and say, okay, yes, I've got this big evaluation that I've completed, and there are definitely some things that I'm thinking of here, and there's definitely some numbers that are not making sense to me. Let me pull out my resources and get those and start to take a look. Let me consult with the other school psychologists in the district. Hey, I have these numbers. What do you guys see the same thing? Or consulting with the case manager. So, and these are things that I kind of put together in my mind in talking myself through what's going on. So, when you practice it on a regular basis, which means at least once a day, you probably want to practice more. It will definitely get easier. And, with all of these, you definitely want to experiment. So whether you have a teddy bear you talk to, little kitty, a scary picture that you've drawn or printed off, it's okay. For parents, it's okay to say right now your worry is in charge, not you. And to really start to help students make that differentiation of when worry's in charge and when they are in charge. Because that's ultimately important, because they're not rationalizing things right now. They're not seeing what's going on. They're not seeing the bigger picture. They're just going with what's very immediate, which is developmentally appropriate at the same time. So you can also get an empty chair to sit at. That's the empty chair technique that I talked about at the beginning of the video. It's kind of fun sometimes to do. It might feel a little silly. But definitely talking to a chair about our problems and what's going on, once you get through the giggles, it can actually be a pretty effective technique that really puts you kind of in the moment, here and now, right here, right now, what's going on. And that's ultimately what we want to do. We don't want to worry about the future. We don't want to worry about the past. We want to worry about the here and now and what's going on now. So definitely work on externalizing anxiety. Realize I've gone past my 10-minute mark for this video, but hopefully you've watched it through. Hopefully this has offered some good suggestions. If you need little kitty for your own worry, definitely feel free. I've had other kids in the office using that too. They like to talk to little kitty, which is absolutely fine. As I said, definitely work through this, and good luck. Practice so that way when it is in a crisis, this is more accessible to use. Have a great week, everyone, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.